Welcome back to the channel. This is your host, Dinosaur, and today we're diving into the newly rewritten and much darker origin of one of Mobile Legends' most iconic villains, Alice, the Queen of Blood. Alice just received a full lore overhaul inside the game, a complete redesign of her backstory that's deeper, more tragic, and far more sinister than anything we've seen before. This updated canon reveals the truth behind her broken childhood, the betrayal that shattered her humanity, and the moment she rose from despair to become the Queen of the Blood Demons. But here's the interesting part. Alice's old lore told a very different story. So in this video, we're going to break down her new narrative, compare it to the original version, and highlight the major changes that completely reshape who Alice truly is. Prepare yourselves, because the evolution of Alice is one of the most dramatic lore transformations in Mobile Legends history. Queen of Blood. Upon her throne in the Sanguine Lair, with blood staining the hem of her dress, Alice looked down at those who knelt before her and asked with a slight smile, "What is love?" To this question, the young Alice would have answered, "Love is the protection and sense of worth bestowed by her father." Alice was the illegitimate daughter of a nobleman and a lowly dancer, but born with a powerful affinity to dark magic. Her mother always told her that their beautiful lifestyle was proof that they were loved. Her father would often take young Alice to see the family's sacred treasure, the crown of Antalus, telling her tales of the family's past glory and how she would help restore their greatness. Alice understood from an early age that being loved meant her role was to be the family's knife in the shadow. Using her gift for dark magic, Alice moved through the southern battlefields, manipulating hearts and minds to eliminate obstacles for the Antalus family. Her half-brother's contempt for her illegitimate status was mere static in the symphony of love. Alice held her head high and ignored their petty grievances with arrogant pride. She had always loved her father and the family despite everything, even when she was captured and tortured by the Monastery of Light. During her final mission, Alice gritted her teeth and revealed none of the family's dark secrets. But does love truly exist? While imprisoned, a mysterious figure revealed a shocking truth to Alice. Her whole life, she had been nothing but a pawn. Alice sneered in response, dismissing it as just another one of the enemy's ploys. The figure simply shook their head, handed a mysterious orb to Alice, and unlocked her cell door. Covered in wounds, Alice made her way home, only to overhear a conversation between her father and the elders. Her failure and capture had been a calculated deal between the Antalus family and the Monastery of Light, in a bid to restore the family's former glory. And love? Alice looked at her father and saw only cold eyes. Love never existed. From the beginning, there had only been her worth, desires, and lies. Her birth was permitted because of her talent, her freedom granted because she had use to the family. Love was a sweet poison that finally showed its true nature. The family had long prepared magic to suppress Alice. They watched coldly as she was pinned to the ground, struggling like a wounded animal. They had already arranged for her to be taken back by the Monastery of Light. But at the peak of her despair, the orb in Alice's possession began to glow. She knew that mysterious figure might be another player in the Antalus family trying to use her, but what did it matter? Alice laughed as despair and hatred consumed her body. The power of the abyss transformed her blood completely. Crimson wings burst from her flesh as demonic energy engulfed the entire family. Alice crouched down and whispered the truth into her dying father's ear. Even if they handed her to the Monastery of Light, the Antalus family would never receive what was promised. In the eyes of those above, her father was a pawn himself. The Antalus family's dream of reclaiming their glory, like Alice's desperate yearning for love, was nothing but a deluded fantasy. Her father drew his last breath amid Alice's blood-curdling laughter. Using the cruelest methods, Alice transformed her contemptuous relatives into blood demon thralls, forever bound to her will. She took the crown of Antalus and wore it mockingly on her leg as decoration, shattering the family's hypocritical delusions and the so-called honor of the nobility. She was reborn from the ashes of a dead love. The Queen of Blood had arrived. Now the Queen asks, "What is love? Love is a price? Love is desire? Love is lies? Love is but an ornament beneath authority, a bloodstain upon the crown, an echo when the chess player makes their move. Having witnessed so much love, she instinctively mastered the game of power and desire. Upon her throne, Alice extends an empty hand, yet within her grasp lie the desires of countless souls. With this power, she left the Monian Empire, leading the blood demons to the abyss, where they claimed their domain. But this is not enough. The queen hears the voice in her heart, the whispers of the human part of her. This is not enough. She has had her fill of deception and manipulation. Rather than remain a pawn for others to control, she would become the player who controls all. She is the queen of the blood demons, the mistress of the sanguine layer, the wrath of the abyss, and the one who will turn her claws against the Monian Empire and ascend to the pinnacle of power. Love and hatred are long dead. Only power and desire can forge eternity. Now let's talk about the difference between Alice's old lore and her brand new canon, because the rewrite completely changes who she is. In the old lore, Alice's story was actually very simple. She was born during the era of strife, treated poorly as an illegitimate daughter, and eventually bewitched by demons. She caused chaos within her family, led them to betray the Lord of Light, and as punishment, they were transformed into blood demons. From there, Alice became one of the leading figures of the Abyss. But in the new lore, that entire storyline has been replaced with something much deeper, more personal, and more tragic. Instead of being a troublemaker who dragged her family into darkness, Alice is now portrayed as a victim of emotional manipulation and betrayal. She genuinely loved her father. She believed she was valued. She worked in the shadows for the Antalus family, using dark magic to help them rise again. And when she was captured, she kept their secrets, all out of loyalty. But the heartbreaking twist is that her family never loved her back. They used her, they sold her out, and her capture wasn't an accident. It was part of the Antalus family's deal with the Monastery of Light. This betrayal is what breaks Alice, not demonic temptation. In the new lore, her transformation into a blood demon isn't a punishment, it's a rebirth. It's the moment she rejects the illusion of love and embraces the only thing that never failed her: power. Another huge difference is that the old lore made her family victims, but in the new canon, Alice takes revenge. She slaughters the entire Antalus family, turns her relatives into blood demon thralls, and claims their crown while laughing at the idea of noble honor. She becomes the Queen of Blood not because demons corrupted her, but because humanity did. And finally, the biggest change. The old lore treated Alice like just another Abyss general, but the new lore elevates her. She's now the mistress of the sanguine layer, a master of desire and manipulation, and a future world-shaping threat to the Monian Empire. In short, old Alice was a demon born out of chaos. New Alice is a queen forged by betrayal, ambition, and the collapse of everything she once believed in. And that wraps up our deep dive into Alice's newly rewritten lore, a transformation that completely changes how we see the Queen of Blood. From a simple villain in the old storyline to a fully fleshed out tragic monarch in the new canon, Alice's evolution proves just how far Mobile Legends has come in building its universe. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more lore comparisons, character deep dives, or updated story analyses, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and let me know which hero you want next. There are still so many revamped stories in MLBB waiting to be explored, and we're just getting started. This is your host Danasaur, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.